Think.
All right, so welcome to today. Today we are at Real Talk. This is my friend Ray. Good to see you. So we're just going
Man,
to go through some questions, get to know Ray a little bit better. So before we start, would you just like to introduce yourself to the people at home?
to the people, hello. My name is Ray Moanga, and I don't know what else do we want to say. I'm here.
Anything
I'm
about
retired.
yourself.
I'm a father of three daughters who are playing quietly over there. A beautiful wife who just had a birthday yesterday. We've been
Oh, happy
married.
birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. If you haven't said happy birthday already. We've been married for just over 11 years, coming up to our 12th year anniversary
Oh, wow.
this
That's
year.
awesome, eh?
Yeah, it's been awesome. And yeah, I just love doing life with family. I love pursuing things that are a challenge to me, whether it be physically in the gym
Yeah.
or even as a parent. That's probably, as you would know, it's probably
Yeah.
the most challenging jobs you will ever
Parenting is
have.
challenging, that's for sure.
But even pursuing a career, like I'm always up for a challenge, and always up for utilizing what I have as a means, as a way to to get to my goal. Because I think that's often a mindset thing where you don't think you're good enough, or
Yeah.
what you have is actually not good enough. But I've realized now, I'm 38 this year, I'm 38 years old, and going, well, what do I have in my hands? What can I do with the small amount of time I have,
Yeah.
as busy as life is already, to make the most of it? So that's why we're here, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Hey. So let's get into some questions. Hey.
Let's do it.
So where did you grow up, and how did it affect you becoming who you are today?
Yeah, so I was born in New Zealand,
Yes.
West Auckland, and grew up in like Glen Eden, Kelston area. Mum and dad decided that they wanted to move to Australia.
Yeah.
So when I was about 8 or 9, we moved here to Brisbane, to Logan.
Oh, wow.
Of all places.
Yeah, to Logan.
Yeah.
Logan City.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been here since the early 90s, really.
Yeah.
And that in itself, the transition has somewhat shaped me, and sort of followed that impact of moving as a young kid has really followed me all the way through my adulthood, even now. In the fact that I'm sort of, I always get excited at a new location, a new destination. There's always something to learn.
Yeah.
Come over as a Kiwi kid, not knowing what a round oval shaped field was. There's like four white toothpick things on either field. I'm like, what is this? They're like, it's AFL. I'm like, where's the crossbar? You know,
What is AFL?
What is AFL? What does AFL stand for? So things like that, I learned along the way how to adapt very quickly to any environment. So from primary school, even in high school as well, I attended a high school where, being Polynesian, I was basically the minority. There was only probably like maybe 8 of us in the entire school.
Yeah, wow.
And so learning very quickly again, to get used to my environment, picking up new skills. And then again, it's sort of been the story of my life. Everywhere I've gone, I've picked up this ability to be able to adapt to an environment without losing my sense of identity, who I am. You know what I mean?
What would you say the biggest differences are between New Zealand and then here you are today?
Yeah.
Obviously you went there, like you grew up as a kid and then you came over. What would you say the differences are, like lifestyle wise? And
I think lifestyle wise, probably the biggest, because we've gone back to New Zealand to live with my wife. We didn't have any kids. We had our 2 oldest girls there, and it was a new experience going back and living, because it was actually my wife. In fact, she picked up the great sense of family and community over there.
Yeah.
And she became a proud Kiwi, even though she's fully Australian.
Yeah. It's very easy to fall into though.
Oh, absolutely.
The love of the culture, like honestly, you just love like the culture, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And so that's probably been the biggest difference in terms of, it's a learning curve for us, in terms of going there on our own, not knowing many people, and learning to create community, and learning to embrace the culture, and learning to embrace the challenge. I think that's been the biggest shift in terms of wherever we've gone since then. Whether we move to a new location, new job, it's like, well, let's just learn from what we're doing right now, because that's going to serve a better purpose, for a greater purpose for us further on down the track. And so never shying away from a challenge. It's always, challenging when you do go with a family.
Yeah.
And you're always thinking about your kids. You're always thinking about, how's this going to impact us? How's this going to impact me as a person? But I've learned just as much as my wife and my kids have in terms of transitions. So it's been, pretty
So I have a question. I've heard for a long time that New Zealand pies are better than Australian pies. Do you have a take on this?
Wait, I can't even be biased, eh? Like, I've had bakeries even around here in our local area in Logan, man. Just awesome pies, or I've eaten pies from all over the place. I honestly don't have a preference.
Don't have a preference?
I don't have a preference. So I'm no help.
No.
I'm no help.
Someone try some pies and let us know how you feel about the pies.
Don't ask.
Or let's go to a bakery and find out. So, as a kid, what do you want to grow up and be? Like, growing up as a kid, obviously you grew up kind of two different places and two different experiences. Like, did you have a certain goal or where you want to go as a kid? Or
as
did you
a
reach
kid,
that goal? Or?
Yeah, as a kid, I've always wanted to be an All Black player. Like, that's just a kid.
Seems to be pretty standard.
That's the dream. Still is now. So hopefully,
give them a call up, honestly.
Please.
Need some help.
Orange peeler, I'm all good.
Yeah,
all
anything.
Day. Yeah. So that was number one. It's never going to happen. Number two was a lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why, to be honest. No one in my family are lawyers.
Yeah.
I didn't know of any lawyers as a kid.
What interested you too?
I think when I was in school, when, they ask you, what do you want to be? And then here are the types of jobs, and they begin to explain the types of jobs. And they began to explain law. It's like you actually get to defend people, like the rights of people, but they didn't actually tell me the other side of it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to defend the bad types of people. But I think I just love the idea of standing up for the marginalized, or those who don't have the means to advocate for themselves. And so I didn't quite go down that route anyway. I love the idea of, and then when I realized how much it would take to become a lawyer, I'm like, is there anything else I can do that sort of has that same sort of notion of helping people and advocating for people?
So where did you go from that? Like, so you figured out you didn't really want to be a lawyer. Where did you transition
from there? From there, again, still played sport. Sport was a big thing, and I played representative sport, played volleyball, and all sorts of sports as well. So that sort of followed with me. I knew I wasn't going to be a professional athlete as per se, get paid for it, but had aspirations. But from there, I decided that I wanted to be a church minister. I grew up in a faith, surrounded by my family and some friends who go to church. And I just really admired how a church minister or a pastor or a priest or whatever people call it in their own faith group would inspire and encourage people. It's like, man, that's kind of cool job. You sort of are a leader of some sort. You still get to advocate for people, and so that began the journey of me sort of diving into the study of it. Did my bachelor's degree, and then I also did I did my bachelor's degree in theology and ministry, became a minister, but I also did a bachelor of teaching. So I became a high school teacher as well. And so for me, preaching, as they say, and teaching sort of somewhat the same. It's all about 100%. It's about teaching people life skills, inspiring them, encouraging them. And just again, a space where you can advocate for people.
So what's something else that people that do know you and don't know you, that's something about you that people don't know? Like what's something? Is there something out there that people don't know about you?
Yeah, I think there's.
Are you willing to share?
I'm trying to think. I'm quite vulnerable and transparent with people. Like I think I posted recently on social media about a job that I thought I had in the bank. Put my best foot forward. I thought I was the right guy for the job. Lots of people say, man, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. It's awesome. Interviewed really well. And then I didn't end up getting the job. And I just felt so disappointed. But the part that people don't know, that I got physically sick after that.
Oh, wow.
Because I put all my efforts into this, as I say, put all your eggs in one basket. I gunned for it. I went all out, emotionally invested into it. But I wasn't taking care of my physical self. And at the end of it, the stress just overwhelmed me that I got physically sick. So people don't know. I was probably almost bedridden for about a week.
That's crazy how stress can do that to you.
Oh, 100%. And people would say, Ray, you're usually a fit guy. How did you let this happen? But because I had my priorities the other way, the wrong way around. So people don't know that I do get sick. I'm not Superman.
Most of the time you're Superman.
But it doesn't help now that I have 3 girls, 3 daughters, who bring in all sorts of diseases and viruses from school.
From kindy,
from school.
Hey, if you send your kid to kindy sick, please don't do it.
Wash your hands, please.
Please don't do it. It's not nice for us to have to bring our kid home sick when they're done.
So
we're going to end on this question here. All right. So what is something that you wish you could change in the world, and why? Like, if you could pick one thing you could change today, like what would it be, and why would you change it?
Man, that's a deep question. If there was one thing in the world I could change in the world,
because obviously there's a lot going on in the world at the moment, like things from recession to wars and people struggling with day-to-day life and stuff like that. Obviously there's a lot more than that's going on that we do and don't know about. But if you could change one thing, Just one? What would it be and why?
Look, there's 1,000 things,
yeah,
but I think if I could, the thing that I'm on at the moment, it's more so an internal dialogue with yourself.
Yeah.
If I could teach people or change people the way that people see themselves.
Yeah.
It's that internal dialogue of saying you are good enough, you are worthy. The things that you have in terms of the skill sets, your abilities, your passions, your interests, that is good enough for the world.
Yeah.
I often think in a society we're so pressurized to have it right.
Yeah.
Look right, has to look right on this
I
thing.
totally agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Social media's been a big 100%.
But if I could change the way, help people think, hey, what you have is good enough.
Yeah.
I think that would radicalize the way we just view the world in general, as opposed to comparing yourself to other people. But yeah, if I could change, that would be, I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
We'll figure it out one day.
We'll figure it out
one day. But yeah, so thank you for coming today.
All good.
We'll catch up sooner or later. That's Ray. Make sure you check him out on Instagram. Go give him a follow, give him a like. But until the next one, we'll see you next time.